Okay, so back to the first slide. We'll start again with the parts of speech in the language. There are three parts of speech: an ism, a noun, a fi'l, a verb, and a harf, which is a particle. And you have the English on the left side and then you have the Arabic on the right side. So an ism will cover the following, and a verb is similar to a verb in Arabic, and a harf will be a conjunction and a preposition. Okay, and the harf we'll do in another lesson, we'll cover it in detail. And the ism is similar to English as the name of a person, animal, place, or thing. And the verb is the action. And the harf does not stand on its own. Please remember this. A harf cannot come by itself. It has to come with a sentence before a verb or a noun. Then it will give a meaning to the sentence. But if you have a harf on its own, then it will have no meaning. Then we went to the next slide. We discussed the indefinite and definite nouns. We mentioned when we want to say a noun is indefinite, we say it is nakiratun. Nakiratun. And a definite noun is ma'rifatun. Ma'rifatun. So remember these terminologies, we'll be using it often. Nakiratun wa ma'rifatun. Indefinite and definite. And the indefinite noun is indicated by a tanween, which all know what a tanween is. It can be a dhammatain, it can be a fathatain, or it can be a kasratain. In this case, we have a dhammatain. The fathatain and the kasratain will come to us soon. For now, we have a dhammatain. So, baytun, it is any house. Kursiyun is a chair, any chair. Qalamun is any pen. And kitabun is any book. Okay, these are all indefinite nouns. In the next slide, we talk about how we can make an indefinite noun into a definite noun. Now we're being specific, we're talking about a specific thing. We add alif and lam to the beginning of this word. Alif and lam. And what does the alif and lam do? When it comes, it drops the tanween. The tanween is dropped. So now we have one haraka, which is a dhamma, or a fatha, or one kasra. So we have al-baytu instead of baytun. We have al-kursiyu instead of kursiyun. And we have al-qalamu instead of qalamun. And we have al-kitabu instead of kitabun. And remember that the alif and lam and tanween, they do not come together in one word. It's either one or the other. So we can't say al-qalamun. Al-qalamun is wrong. It has to be al-qalamu or qalamun. And there's a note that proper nouns such as Khalidun, Muhammadun, proper nouns, these end with a tanween, but they're definite. Because if I'm saying Khalid, I'm talking about a specific person, or Muhammad, this is a specific person, it's definite. So proper nouns are definite. As for the others, they have to come with alif and lam, or the alif and lam is dropped. So here there's an exercise where we'll do together as a class, where we give the definite form of these nouns. So we'll say bintun. Bintun is a girl. How do we say the girl? Al-bintu. Al-bintu. Malikun becomes al-maliku. Yawmun, a day. Al-yawmu with a dhamma. Al-yawmu, not al-yawmun. Sarirun. As-sariru. As-sariru. If you know your sun and moon letters, it is as-sariru, not al-sariru, as-sariru. So now we have definite nouns. How do we make these now indefinite? An-najmu, which is the star. Najmun. Najmun. Al-qamisu. What is it? Qamisun. Al-talibu. Talibun, a student. We have الطالب طالب. What about the doctor? الطبيب طبيب. This is سهل. We're gonna build on this. This is only an introduction for the nahu. That's what we'll do for today, for nahu. Inshallah, next week we're going to add more. And for those that need to catch up, they can catch up with us. And for the rest of us, this will be as muraji'ah. Alright, so the next slide, we're going to talk about ma and nafiya, which is the ma of negation. So these will come with the verbs. So by now you should know how to conjugate any 3-letter past tense verb. Either it's fa'ala, fa'ila, or fa'ula. You should be able to conjugate from beginning to end. You can say, I did it, you did it, we did it, she did it, he did it. All of it. You should know how to do that by now. So now what we're going to do is something extra, which is how to negate. Because we know how to say you did it. How do we say you did not do it? So what we do is we bring this ma. There's different types of ma, but this one specifically is used to negate the verb. To say I did not do such and such. So we know akaltu means I ate. Right? I ate. How do I say now I did not eat? We bring this ma before the verb. This ma can come in front of nouns as well, but for now we're just doing verbs. So I'll say ma akaltu shay'an. I did not eat anything. Ma akaltu shay'an. Or I can say ma akalta shay'an. You did not eat anything. So look at, we'll have more examples. You did not go to the masjid. How do we say this? Ma dhahabtum ila al-masjid. If you drop the ma, dhahabtum ila al-masjid means you went to the masjid. Now we want to say you did not go to the masjid. We just simply bring this ma in front. Ma dhahabtum ila al-masjid. You did not go to the masjid. Then we have the verb sami'ti. What's the root? Sami'ti. It goes back to sami'a. Sami'a. To hear. Ma sami'ti ad-dars. You did not hear the lesson. Who am I speaking to here? First person. Oh, sorry, second person, female. Ma sami'ti ad-dars. You did not hear the lesson. Okay. Then we have hafidna. The root is hafidha. To memorize or to preserve. So we will say ma hafidna al-Qur'an al-yawm. We did not memorize the Quran today. Ma hafidna al-Quran al-yawm. And then we have fahima. Fahima. Ma fahimna ad-dars. Ma fahimna ad-dars. We did not understand the lesson. So is that clear? This ma used for negation. Wadih. Simply bring it at the beginning of the verb or the sentence, and it will simply negate the whole sentence. And another thing that we need in the next slide is particles that will be used for questioning. This is a harf. There's a harf. You have two. You can either use hal, or you can use the hamzatul istifham, which we took in Medina book 1. You can use one or the other. Or some people prefer hal because it's clear in pronunciation. You can hear it, hal. Just like the ma, it will come at the beginning of this sentence and it will turn it into a question. So we have akaltumul yawm. Akaltumul yawm. You ate today. Now if I want to ask, did you eat today? Simply bring hal in front of it or a. So we say hal akaltum al-yawm. But because there's two sukoons meeting, for phonetic reasons, the meme will have a dhamma. So hal akaltumul yawm. Hal akaltumul yawm. Did you eat today? There's a hal used for questioning. Hal hafidhtunna al-Qur'an. Did you memorize the Quran today? هل حفظتن القرآن? Did you memorize the Quran today? Who am I addressing here? Female, second person, yes. The second one will be, the third one, sorry. هل فهمتم الدرس? هل فهمتم الدرس? Now who am I addressing here? Two. Third person? Second person. I'm speaking directly to two people. Did you understand the lesson today? هل رجع أحمد? Did Ahmed return? هل رجع أحمد? Or you can say رجع أحمد. Use one or the other. رجع أحمد. And then how do I say, did you know that? هل علمت ذلك? هل علمت ذلك? Did you know that? So in these examples I used hal, but you can remove all of them, use depending on which one you prefer of the two. This is all clear so far. We have ma nafiya, ma of negation, to negate the verbs. Any verb that we've taken, we'll negate it with this ma. Then we have two particles that we can use for questioning. So now we can negate any verb, and we can use any verb for questioning. واضح. Okay, so now, last week we took 6 new words. In the next slide, we took 6 new words. I think everyone's memorized them by now, صح? Last week's words. I don't remember. Oh, okay, so we used the same table and I put words in there. So for this week, I'm going to give you more words. Since we're not memorizing anything, we might as well take advantage and memorize or build up our vocabulary. The first one will be darasa. On the scale fa'ala is to study. You can conjugate that in your own time. I studied, we studied until the end. Talaba is to seek. So talaba, this is where talib comes from. Talib, which they say is a student, is actually a seeker. Talibul ilm is a seeker of knowledge. It's not a student of knowledge, because he can be a talib of something else. He can seek something else. So talaba is to seek. Raja'a is to return. And all of these is how we present verbs when you want to memorize them, in the he form. So all of these means to study, but it means he studied. It means to seek, he sought. To return, he returned. Until the end. So sa'ala, you can write down sa'ala, is to ask. Sa'ala, he asked. Sami'a is to return, to hear. Sami'a. And then you have shariba, to drink. Shariba, to drink. I'll give you a minute to write these down. The brother asked, does la negate a verb? Yes, the la will negate a present tense verb. So when we get to the present tense verbs, we'll learn how to negate it with a la. La yadhab. But there's different types of la as well. They do different jobs. One will negate, one will prohibit. Ma, there's different types of ma as well. Ma you can use for questioning, ma for negation. So for now we've got one ma. Okay, so inshallah we'll go into the book now. We'll go into the introduction. So today we'll take the first 3.5 introductions, and then from there we'll continue and focus on, from next week we'll focus on the second half from the third introduction until the end. So he says مقدمات في علم الصرف, introductions in the science of Sarf. So we'll take 2 definitions, لغة and اصطلاحا. So مقدمة الأولى, the first introduction. So this time I'll read it slower. I think the first lessons they were complete, so I was reading too fast. So I'll translate it slowly this time. مقدمة الأولى, the first introduction. معنى الصرف لغة, the meaning of صرف linguistically. واصطلاحا, meaning the terminology is used by the scholars of Sarf. So we'll take it linguistically, and the terminology used by the scholars of Sarf. So the first thing he mentions is Sarf يقال التصريف. So you can say Sarf And you can also say تصريف. صرف والتصريف. So معناه في اللغة, the meaning linguistically, التغيير, changing, والتقليب, and alteration. That is linguistically. التغيير is a changing and alteration. تقليب. A changing and an alteration. Is that right? ومعناه في الاصطلاح, and the meaning with the scholars of صرف, أي عند أهل العلم الصرف. So the terminology, the definition with the scholars of صرف is تغيير في صورة الكلمات, changing in the form of the word. Changing in the form of the word لغرض لفظي, meaning again, which will go back to the letters. We'll go back to the letters. أو لغرض معنوي, or back to the meaning. And then he'll give us 2 examples for each one. لغرض لفظ. Okay, that will go back to the letters. And he's going to give us the 2 examples here for each one. So for everything, the Sheikh will give an example. So if you don't understand now the introductions, it will become clear when we make it or when we practice practically. If you don't understand it through theory, you understand through practical exercises. So the first one, لغرض or لغرض اللفظي, is the first example, مد أصله مدد. مد, its original form is مدد. And for this one, I'm going to come back to it in another lesson where we can focus on it properly. So the second one, لغرض معنوي, which goes back to the meaning, is علم on the scale. فاعلة. Then you have يعلم, اعلم, عالم, معلوم. So علم, he knew. يعلم is the present tense, he knows. اعلم is a command, know. عالم, this is the one that knows. And معلوم is the thing that is known. So now this one's going back to the meaning. You can see the root letters in all of them. Can you see the root letters in all of them? But the form is changing. The form is changing with the same root letters. علم, يعلم, اعلم, عالم, معلوم. Okay, so the next muqaddimah, the second muqaddimah, is what we took at the start of the class. The parts of speech. أقسام الكلمة. They are what? How many are they? 3. Who can mention them without looking? Do one each. اسم, فعل, حرف. And then he'll give us an example for each one, but we went into them already. اسم مثل محمد, like Muhammad. عالم, سيارة. And فعل مثل علم, قرأ, درس. حرف مثل في, يا, هل. And he says that the harf will not come in the science of sarf. This will be in the nahu that we'll cover at the start of the lessons, where we'll study the harf. So that is the first 2 introductions. Anything that's not clear? So we'll do half of this 3rd introduction, and then from there you practice what we've taken, and from next week we'll move forward and it will become possibly harder from next week if you're not keeping up. المقدمة الثالثة, the third introduction. Okay. The third introduction. الميزان الصرف أو وزن الصرف. You can say ميزان الصرف or الوزن الصرف. So he says ميزان الصرفي هو ميزان, it is a scale وضعه علماء الصرف, that the scholars of Sarf placed on it. هو ميزان, it is a scale that the scholars of Sarf placed on it. لمعرفة الاختلاف, to identify the differing بين الكلمات العربية to identify the differing between the Arabic words. Do I need to repeat that? You wrote that. So what's the definition? What's the mizan or sarf? Abdaki. Where's the mizan or sarf? Yeah. Okay. So he says, fa'idatu mizan. What is the benefits of now these scales? What are the benefits? The first benefit is ma'rifatul harakati was sukuni. You will know, or you're able to know, the haraka or the sukun في حروف الكلمة الموزونة, in the letters that are getting scaled. So you know where the harakat and the sukun will be placed. That's the first faida. The second one is ma'rifatul usul wal-za'id. You will know the root letters from the za'id, which has been increased. من حروف الكلمة الموزونة. So you know the root letters from that which has been added, or which has been increased by. So what's the first benefit? Which one? Okay, and the second one? You know? Yes. The second benefit will come next week, so we'll focus on the first one. The first one. So if you look at the box here, we have, this is the box that we looked at the first lesson, which confused us. We have I wouldn't call it words, but we have 3 letters. Kalimatul mawzuna, the word that is being scaled. So you have a ayn, a lam, and a mim. Ala wazni, it will be on the scale. Then we have mizan, and it will give us 3 scales. So if you put the ayn, a lam, and the mim on the scale fa'ila, what is the result here? Alima. Then he gives us the dal, the ra, and the sin. Ala wazni fa'lun. This is we've not taken the scale yet, but we have the scale fa'lun. Darsun. So do you see what he's trying to show you here, where it's on the scale, it follows each haraka. So if I was to say fa'alima, which one is aynul kalima? He says the lam. Is that correct? The lam. Yes. Which one's the aynul kalima? The lam. Okay, so we have ain, noon, and a ba. Ala wazni fi'alun. Who can do this one? That's not from these brothers. Inabun. Inabun. And we mentioned that the three root letters are made up of, what are the three root letters that were chosen? Fa, ain, and lam. Alhamdulillah. So if you look at the next few pages, if you look at page 9, we've completed this as well without realizing. Page 9, we've done all of these 3-letter scale. We have fa'ala, fa'ila, and fa'ula. We've completed this without even opening the book. And if you look at page 10 as well, we have the full scale. Page 10. It's not on the screen. You have to go in the book. Page 10. There's the full scale. Only for fa'ala. You should know how to do fa'ila and fa'ula as well. And if you look at page 11, it shows you the dama'ir, the pronouns. So look at the first one. You have fa'ala plus the ta, fa'alat. And it will show you until the end. So next week we're going to finish the introductions, and then when we finish the introduction we can look at page 12 where you'll find the 4-letter verbs. There's 4-letter verbs. You have af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'lala. These are all past tense. And then inshallah page 15 will be the 5-letter verbs until the end, inshallah.